Hello, Bond fans, and welcome to this live stream in which I am going to be discussing the final trailers for No Time to Die, which is due to be released at the end of this month. I can't fucking wait! I should have realized that given that the hype train was going to be back soon, and the marketing, promotional time is going to kick in for Bond. No Time to Die got actually two new trailers. Both actually quite similar trailers, but one was a US trailer, and the other one was an international trailer. And obviously, the international trailer is the main one that everyone was talking about. But yeah, the movie comes out at the end of this month. I can't believe that. And they are going ahead with release. They have confirmed premieres, as I've already mentioned, and it's happening. Basically, it's happening. It's coming. We're getting the film, and it's very exciting. In terms of the trailers, there isn't too much to talk about, so I'll keep it brief. But a lot of the footage in the trailers is stuff we have seen already. But yeah, hopefully they haven't spoiled too much because I want to be surprised when I go and see this film. So that's that. The first one I'll talk about is the US one because I think there's a little bit more to say. It starts out actually with some footage from the previous Craig movies. I think there's shots from all four of the Craig movies prior to No Time to Die, where it opens with this text saying, in the beginning, he became 007, and everything has now led to this. So I like the fact that they're really sort of drawing in on the finality of Craig's era, the fact that No Time to Die is definitely his last movie, and all of the past events of previous movies are going to lead up to what happens in this movie. And I can't wait to see how all the story elements tie together because I, for one, am a fan of the way Spectre tied the Craig films together. I thought it was quite a little clever thing to do. It was sort of subtle, and they didn't make a big deal out of it. And with the fact that we're going to have Blofeld back in this movie as well, and obviously Madeline is back in this movie, there are going to be threads of Spectre that will have to be wrapped up because I didn't think Spectre was a finale of Craig's era. It was a great movie, but I didn't think that it was the conclusion of his era. There was a sense of completion. That's what Sam Mendes said. So Sam Mendes basically was completing his time as director, but the door was still kind of left open for Craig, even though, Bond at the end of Spectre, spoiler alert, I mean, I'm sure you've seen Spectre by now, but Spectre had Bond drive off with Madeline at the end of the film. So he made a decision to leave MI6. So in the beginning of this movie, No Time to Die, he's going to be seen with her, living a peaceful life. And then something happens, some big secret comes out. And it causes it sets off the plot for this movie, whatever the plot may be. But it looks really interesting. And I like the trailer very much. The US one was really cool. And I mean, the music for both trailers is very similar. But the US one probably got me a bit more pumped. And again, I like the subtle sort of connectivities with the with the other Craig films. And I really like one of the lines that is said by M in the trailer when he says, used to be able to get into a room with the enemy. Now we're just floating in the ether, which is really interesting. Sorry about my hair. I've just come out of the shower. But this could potentially be the biggest Bond movie ever made yet. I mean, the budget would probably speak for that. I mean, it's just like an over $250 million movie. It's crazy, the budget for this film. It's crazy. And in the world of COVID, let's just hope that it's safe enough for it to do very well. I really hope so. And Craig looks great, actually. He looks really in shape. He looks physically prime. And even though he's a bit older, it looks like he's going to be kicking ass for the fifth and final time. And I think this movie will hopefully allow people to appreciate Spectre a bit more. I still defend Spectre. I still love Spectre. It's not Craig's best movie. No. I wouldn't say that, but it is very good. And yeah, some of the set pieces look pretty epic for No Time to Die. I must say, the action looks like they're cranking it right up to 11. Saffin's lair looks amazing. Yes, it does. Saffin's lair kind of reminds me a bit of like Stromberg's lair from The Spy Who Loved Me, and also part of the ceiling has the grating, which looks similar to Dr. No's lair. So maybe. I mean, I don't know if Safin will be Dr. No. If he is, I don't really see the point. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. As for the international trailer, it was much sort of similar. Well, except it didn't have shots of the older Craig films. It just had the text saying "the wait is over," and I think we all needed to see that, especially after the pandemic. I mean, not that the pandemic is over, but at least we're in a safer position than we were when the film was supposed to be released. Yeah, and it's been a long time coming for this movie, and the international trailer was good. It didn't show too much more than what we've already seen. There are a couple of new shots. One of my favorite parts was when Q said, "Can I just have one nice evening before the world explodes?" That's a great line. I feel like there's going to be some great one-liners in this film, and you know, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a great writer, and there's all the Bond writers are pretty good who are on this film. So I imagine we're going to get some good humor like we did in Skyfall and Spectre. So there's a lot to look forward to, folks. I think there is, and I know some people have the kind of inclination that this Bond film might be woke because of the whole Lashana Lynch thing. Look, I'm not going to go that far. I'm just going to judge I'm just going to judge the movie as I see it. And at the end of the day, in the Bond films, we've had this sort of partnership before. Bond and Anya in The Spy Who Loved Me. You know, they've teamed up, Bond and Wei Lin in Tomorrow Never Dies. So it's not like the series hasn't had, you know, sort of Bond has had a female counterpart who's on the mission with him. You know, there's you know, that's always been in the series somewhere. Okay, yes, a lot of the women in the Bond films have been objectified, and I won't deny that. But I think some people are exaggerating when they say, "Oh, well, this is going to be a terrible movie because of the political correctness bullshit." And it's like, no, it's not. It's, look, just judge the movie as it is, and then, you know, you can make your own decisions about that. But of all the trailers that I've seen of No Time to Die, and I think there's like 4 trailers now, the movie, it looks beautiful. Wow, the cinematography is amazing. I think whoever did the cinematography, is it true that it's the guy from La La Land? I think so. I can't remember who exactly it is. But anyway, it looks beautiful. I mean, especially the Jamaica stuff looks really cool. And I'm so glad to have Felix back. Felix Leiter. We're long overdue for some Felix action. I mean, even in the earlier Craig movies, Felix was kind of just a cameo. He never really got to do that much. And I think they honestly wasted him. Okay, in Casino Royale, they just introduced him, so fair enough. We just assumed he was going to be saved for another day. I mean, and then he was in Quantum of Solace, and he did even less in that movie. And then he wasn't in Skyfall and Spectre. So I'm so glad he's back for this one. And I really want to see Bond and Felix in action together. I think that's another great partnership. I just hope he's actually in the movie more than just the Jamaica scenes. I mean, I'm kind of thinking maybe he isn't, because we're not seeing him that much in any other moments. Who knows? I would like them to use Felix a lot more. It would be good to do that, because Craig hasn't really had that chance in his era to do that. But it looks like they've partnered up Bond and Nomi, Lashana Lynch's character, for most of the movie, which is interesting. And yeah, again, Ana de Armas is not going to be in the movie that much. I think she's only going to be in that one sequence in Jamaica, or is it Cuba? I can't remember. But yeah, it looks really cool. It looks really, really awesome. And there's also some lines like, "Oh, if you target enough people, people become the weapons." So I get the sense that this movie is going to go into some kind of like warfare, like nuclear warfare, biological warfare, something like that. Safin talks about eradicating people, but wanting to do it a bit tidier than James Bond. And I think they're going for a similar idea like what they did with Skyfall, you know, with Silva, Bond and Silva kind of being two halves of the same person, but linked to M. In this time, it looks like they're doing the same thing, but with Madeline, because in one of the trailers, Safin says, you know, I could be speaking to my own reflection, in love with Madeline Swan. So we now know that Safin was in love with Madeline. To what end, we don't know, but we don't know what exactly happened. But they've now told us that Safin was once in love with Madeline. Madeline has some really dark secrets. But yeah, I mean, so honestly, I can't say much more about the trailers. They've shown us everything they can for this movie now. We just have to see it. You know, I really am excited for this movie. And let me know what you think is your favorite part of the trailer below. But for now, I'm just going to address the live chat because there's not much else to talk about. bring on the movie. Just bring it on because it looks pretty awesome, and I can't wait. Okay, it's all Sam Harrison. I think you're one of the two people watching. We like the shot of Bond with the water tanks. Yes, yeah, we've not seen Daniel Craig in an underwater action sequence for Bond yet. That's a new thing. I can't remember the last underwater fight that we had with Bond. It was actually wrong. I tell a lie. Skyfall. Craig was underwater fighting a guy under the ice. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. But no, the water tank sequence looks amazing. It looks wow. It looks spectacular. This could be Craig's best Bond film, actually. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know how it will top Skyfall. I mean, Skyfall is still my favorite Bond film. So if it can be more epic than that, then wow. I mean, it's got to be, for it to have been worth the wait, for this long. I mean, who knows? If not his best, one of his best. The set design looks great. Yes, it does. And I think the set design is trying to be sort of paying homage to Ken Adams stuff. That's a lot of what I see. I mean, the biggest set looks to be Safin's lair, which is amazing. I mean, I quite liked Blofeld's lair in Spectre, even though it was, it wasn't the most how can I say it, most flamboyant design, but it looked cool. It looked cool for what it was. But Safin's lair looks like the biggest lair that we've seen in the Craig era. I mean, we haven't really seen many villain lairs, to be honest, because they've taken the series in a different direction. They've been more realistic. I feel like this is as close to the classic era of Bond as Craig's era is ever going to get. And I feel like that's been sort of an evolution since Casino Royale. It started out as dark, gritty, realistic, but then it's kind of morphed slowly back into the classic era of Bond, but in a very natural way, I think, with the, Skyfall, I think, was the kind of turning point in Craig's era. It changed the sort of style and direction so slightly, but I think it worked. Yeah, that's true. I don't think he is Dr. No. Yeah, he does have real hands, but there's something wrong with his face. I mean, he's wearing that Phantom of the Opera mask, so I wonder what that's all about. And actually, they're selling that mask for nearly 300 quid. You can buy like a replica of it, but that is way too expensive for a mask. Humor looks like it's going to be dry and white like Skyfall, which is great. It won't be Moonraker comedy. Yeah, I mean, Moonraker is Moonraker. It's a product of its time. No Time to Die. I think, from what I've heard, Barbara Broccoli has said in many interviews that they've tried to make this one the most emotional. So I think we're going to get another sort of more personal one. I mean, that's been very much the center of Craig's era, but it's supposed to be an emotional culmination of what has come with the first 4 films in his tenure. So I don't think there's going to be room for camp comedy, and that's not Craig's Bond. He's not camp at all. If you want to see Craig in Moonraker, play 007 Legends, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's not even Craig voicing Bond. I think the PC stuff will probably be there, but just in the background, it's not going to be, I mean, there are implications that Lashana Lynch's character is a bit cocky, and she's like, oh, if you stay in your lane, I'll put a bullet in your knee or something like that. But then there's also that moment where he's like, have you ever flown one of these before? And she's like, nope. So she doesn't know everything. I think she's a bit more of a rookie compared to Bond, but I think it'll be an interesting partnership. And I don't think it's going to be a romantic partnership in any way, shape, or form. And I just think I think there's going to be quite a lot of banter between them. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. Yeah, the orange uniforms or red uniforms, whatever they are, they look interesting. That's what makes me think this movie is going to go into some kind of, I don't know, biological warfare. Something, it kind of feels also a bit like On Her Majesty's Secret Service, like with Blofeld in the clinic. It kind of has an air of that. That also, I don't know, feeds into it. Who knows? I mean, this could be on a sort of more global scale than what Blofeld achieved in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I mean, he was just using the clinic he was using the girls to kind of test it and everything. Yeah, Blofeld. No, I think Blofeld's just going to be in the one scene in the prison. Maybe he'll be in it a couple more times, but he's not the central focus of this film. Unlike Spectre, he was, even then he wasn't in Spectre a huge amount. So yeah, Blofeld I think will just be in the prison scene, but it looks as though Madeline has something to do with Blofeld, or she's working in that building, or was she working for MI6 or something? I've got no idea what that scene is all about. You know, when he sees her in the hallway and she's got the notepad and she's like, James, you don't know what this is. So I think there's going to be a great mystery to this film, and I think that there's going to be a lot more suspense, and I think that Madeline's character is like the core of what this mystery is and the story, and I think it's going to be really cool to find out what this is all about. And I wonder if the rumors about the daughter are true. We'll see, won't we? Maybe Safin used to work for Mr. White. Possibly, yeah. Well, I mean, there was the rumor about, you know, when Madeline says Inspector, how a man came to her house and she used a gun on somebody, you know. So maybe it's that. I reckon when she was younger, Safin was the guy that came to her house, like she describes Inspector. And because she says she hates guns. So I think they've used that to try and tie that in with No Time to Die. But I still think there's more to that than meets the eye. Because obviously if he's saying he's in love with Madeline Swan, like Bond was, then there's a lot. This is very complicated. I think this is going to be quite a complex narrative, more so than Spectre was. But I still love Spectre for what it is. Yes, the underwater fight in Skyfall is great. Yeah, Skyfall is the Bond movie to beat for me, and it's the best Craig Bond movie, definitely. That one is the closest, I think, to classic Bond. But I think No Time to Die is going to be the most epic Bond movie. It certainly looks that way, but yeah, we'll see. And it's the longest. It's very Ken Adam inspired, yes, and I'm really happy about that. It feels like they are honouring what's come before. Is it Dennis Gassner who's the production designer? I think that's the guy who does the sets for the new films. Yeah, I think actually, yeah, you're right. This could be the best production design for the Craig films. I mean, the best looking Craig film, I think, is Skyfall, because the artistry of that movie is fantastic. The lighting, everything about Skyfall more or less works. So yeah, No Time to Die looks like they're trying as hard as they can to come as close as they can to that, but also, you know, raise the bar in terms of spectacle. Yeah, I hope Bond doesn't die. Again, the film is called No Time to Die, so my theory is that hopefully that won't happen. It's a big risk. You'd alienate half your fan base. I mean, I probably still would support the movies. Obviously, they would probably reboot the films with a new actor, but to see Craig's Bond die, that would be a really sour note to end on. I just don't think that's right for Bond. He's a survivor, you know. Maybe he survives at a cost, you know, but I don't know. It's hard to say what happened. That's the only thing that concerns me is the ending. Yeah, the opening will feel like a horror movie with Safin in the mask. Yeah, there's some great shots in the trailer of Safin and his mask. I mean, Rami Malek has quite a creepy face anyway, and that's meant as a compliment because he can use that for you know, he already looks the part of a villain, if that makes sense. So he's going to be great. I have a really good feeling about Rami Malek as Safin. Yeah, I can see what you mean about Skyfall. I mean, first 2/3 maybe are a bit slow, but actually no, I disagree. I think Skyfall's well paced. I think it's very well paced. I can understand why you might say that because it is a lot of Bond sort of recovering and getting over the events of the opening sequence. But I like it. I think it's an interesting it's an interesting amount of scenes that we watch there. But yeah, I think it's pretty consistent. No, Oberhauser. Well, that was the name of. Well, that was the cover name used for Blofeld. He called himself Franz Oberhauser. That was Blofeld's father's name, Oberhauser, but he chose to rename his name as Blofeld on his mother's side. Safin is the guy in the mask. Yeah. I hope Bond will not die. That is the biggest concern. Yes, I hope so. Oh, good luck studying geography. Majesty's Secret Service. Yeah, and I think actually at the time, in the late 60s, On a Majesty's Secret Service probably would have been the most sort of, well, the biggest Bond film. I mean, well, despite the fact that it was probably not as popular then because of, well, Lazenby. But in terms of the story, it had a lot of high stakes, and obviously Bond was in love and he got married. So I think they've certainly been inspired by the old films quite a lot for No Time to Die. I don't know if Bond and Madeline are married, but they've certainly settled down by the looks of it. Apparently, this film opens like 5 years after Spectre, so they've had a bit of time since Spectre to kind of settle down and possibly start a family. I mean, who knows? They said if there is a daughter, she'd be 5 years old. Excuse me. I think it is Safin. I've seen pictures. I think I've seen a picture of Rami Malek with the mask off. Like if you watch that podcast trailer on YouTube, they show a little bit of clips of Safin, and they show Rami Malek with the mask off. And plus, the scene where Madeline receives the mask, she's talking to Safin. So I think it's pretty obvious that it's him. But maybe I'm wrong, but I would be very surprised if I am wrong. But there we go. Trailers can be deceptive, but who knows? Casino Royale, but No Time to Die could beat it. Yeah, potentially. I mean, Casino Royale was like my second favorite. So I'm hoping No Time to Die is going to come on the same level as those two. I'm going to see it a few times before I put the review up because I want to be sure about it. But yeah, I think Craig's tenure has been remarkable, just remarkable. I still really enjoy Spectre. I know some people don't, but that's fine. And Quantum of Solace, it's good, but it's not the best. So it's definitely his weakest. Yeah. So I mean, that's just my opinion anyway. Skyfall looks stunning. Quantum is the worst looking Craig film. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Quantum looks terrible, like visually, but it's just rushed. Like there are many things about Quantum of Solace that are a bit, poor to say the least. But I still find some enjoyment in it. But it's not the Craig film I would rush back to. I probably will watch the Craig movies again just before I see No Time to Die. I think at the end of this month, I'm going to do a Craig Bond movie marathon, and then watch all four of his films before No Time to Die, if I can, on the days before No Time to Die. So then effectively I would be doing a Daniel Craig Bond marathon, which would be just superb. Yeah, I think that's partly why Danny Boyle left. They haven't said like for certain, but I reckon Danny Boyle pitched the idea about killing Bond, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. So I reckon that's where the creative differences lied. I mean, there was a rumor about that. Again, it's just an assumption, not confirmed, but who knows? I think killing off Bond is too big a risk. It's just too big a risk. I know it's never been done before, and it's something they want to try, but I just think it's just too much of a sour note for him to go out on. I just think that Craig's Bond needs a more dignified exit than that. If Bond dies, I'll probably still enjoy the film, but I'd be thinking, well, damn, I don't want the film to end on a bum note, Anyway. Well, I don't think he is anymore. Well, I mean, how can Blofeld really be in charge of Spectre when he's in custody? So I don't know. I guess he's obviously got people who can run the organization while he's absent. I mean, there's the whole board of directors that we saw that Spectre meeting. Presumably somebody on there will take control while he's away. But I imagine, I don't know, unless they're going to break Blofeld out of prison. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I guess. I think You Only Live Twice was the biggest Bond film in the 60s. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I suppose so. With the going to Japan, and I think that there was a great glamorous spectacle about that film. It was awesome to look at. I mean, I still have some flaws with the movie, but I cannot fault the film on a technical level. It's great. One of the best looking films of the 60s. I still think Majesties is the better film though, on a story level, despite the fact that you have Lazenby as Bond instead of Connery. But Connery looks bored shitless in You Only Live Twice, so that's another reason why I don't rush back to that one as much. But when I do watch it, I do enjoy the visual splendor that's on screen. And also, you can't beat the music for You Only Live Twice. That's amazing. Uh, are you going to see it in the BFI? Yes, I'm planning to. I haven't booked it yet, but I think the tickets go on sale on the 13th of September. I mean, truthfully, I don't have a huge amount of money at the moment, but as soon as I get paid, I am going to book the tickets. I'm going with my friend Nicholas Payne, who is also a Bond fan. Please subscribe to his channel. He's reviewed the Bond films as well. And it's actually sort of, I promised it for him as sort of like a late birthday present. We were going to do Bond in Motion on the same day, but because of COVID, they closed the exhibition, which is a shame. But to be honest, maybe it's for the best, because I imagine that the exhibition will reopen potentially next year once they've added some stuff for No Time to Die. So it might probably be better to go and see it then. But I'm going to see the film more than once. Like, I'm going to see it once at the BFI the first time, because it's the last Craig film, so I have to. And then I'll probably see it at my local another couple of times, or maybe even another 3 times, depending on how much I enjoy it. So I want to see the film at least 2 to 3 times before I review it. So you'll probably get the review of No Time to Die in October, and then I'll update my ranking of the Bond movies, because some of my opinions have changed a bit, but not much. You like the Craig era apart from Quantum of Solace? Yeah, that's fair enough. A lot of people would probably agree with that. I don't mind Quantum of Solace, but it could have been a lot better. They should have delayed it by another year, and then it could have come out in 2009, and it would have been a lot better. But I think they've learned since Quantum of Solace, and I think they realized, and that's why I think No Time to Die was, the script was constantly being rewritten and constantly being changed. I really do think that they thought about it. They were trying to think about it a lot more. Also, because they knew it was Craig's last one. But yeah, Quantum of Solace was a bit of a rush job. It's such a shame. But there are good bits in it. But it's not the Craig film I would rush to. Actually, yeah, the podcast is coming. The podcast series on No Time to Die is coming back. It's being relaunched on, I believe, in a couple of days' time, actually, because they did try to launch it last November. But then the film was delayed again, and the coronavirus was still rampant across the world, so it wasn't the right time to release it. It was a bummer at the time, but yeah, it was for the best. Anyway, the point is, we're getting the film now anyway. So I had a special voucher that I was given last month. Oh yeah. Oh, what? So like you had a cinema voucher, Sam? I'm assuming that's what you mean. I think Spectre is great as well. The last third is the weakest part. First thing I was given a. Yeah, I'm glad that you agree Spectre is great. I know it's not to everyone's cup of tea, and I mean, okay, the brothers thing. It's I think it's a Marmite thing. You'll either love it or hate it. I don't mind it. It's okay. They obviously wanted to add a personal angle to it. I mean, at least they're not blood related. I suppose that's the one thing, but. I just think Spectre's great because it has a lot of style, and it feels a lot more like a sort of classic Bond movie, and the sort of humor, it went back to more of the sort of old school humor, and they kind of loosened Craig up a bit, but it still kept the sort of darkness that was in his era a bit, certainly with the Mr. White scene. But yeah, I love Spectre. I think it's a great film. It's not as good as Skyfall or Casino, but I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I think people will hopefully appreciate it more. And yes, the opening in Mexico was amazing. That was really good. And yeah, more love for Spectre, please. Yeah, that's everything in the live chat. So I have got nothing else to say about No Time to Die. I look forward to seeing it. Hopefully the next time I talk about it will be the review, which will be in October, because I'm going to be seeing the film a few times. But yeah, it's great that this film is coming out. The trailers were great. If you haven't watched the trailers, go and watch them on the James Bond channel. And they've started to do various other things now, like marketing with the watch adverts, and I'm sure the Heineken advert will come soon enough. Yeah, the Omega advert has come, and yeah, there's a podcast about No Time to Die coming. So yeah, it's worth having a look to see if you're interested. Yeah, and as for who's going to take over after Craig, like you said, Mike, no idea. I don't really know who I want to play Bond after Craig. I I think people like Henry Cavill and Tom Hardy and Idris Elba, they're too. I don't think they'll get it. They're too big names. I think they'll want someone who's not as attached to a huge franchise, because it will be hard to separate them from that part. So I like Henry Cavill's Superman, Tom Hardy's Venom. It's so I can't imagine them doing that and James Bond. I think they'll want somebody who's probably maybe like Craig, who's relatively new to the industry. But we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Sorry, it went on for 30 minutes, but yeah, what do you think of the trailers? Please comment down below and let me know. And yeah, hopefully see you in October for my review of No Time to Die at long last. We need Mr. Bond back after Corona fucked our lives over. But anyway, thank you for watching. And as always, I'm Mr. Timeless11. See ya.